So today I'm going to make a quick video for some of my friends who wanted to know how I use my French press to make coffee. I do it a little bit differently, which is why I'm making a video about how I do it as opposed to the billion other videos about making coffee on YouTube. So what you'll need is you'll need a French press, your coffee, a coffee grinder, and I use an electric kettle, but some way to boil your water. You'll also need a spoon. So to get started, you're going to want to grind up your coffee into a really fine grain. Most people with the French press use a coarser grind coffee, but I like to use a fine grain because, like I said, I do it a little bit differently, and this will play into that. So my water just finished boiling, and I put my coffee into my press, and at first I'm just going to add enough water to cover up the top of the coffee, just a little bit. And I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to stir it up really well. I'll start seeing that little cream, that crema forming at the top layer of the coffee. That looks pretty good. Now, the reason I use the fine grind on the coffee is because a lot of people like to use the coarse grind and just let it steep for longer. But I found that the longer you let your coffee steep, the more bitter it gets. So what I do instead is I use the fine grain and stir it real well at the beginning to get a good infusion, and then I let it steep for 1.5 minutes before scooping the grounds off the top of the coffee and throwing those away. And that helps cut down on the bitterness while giving you still a really strong cup of coffee. So now I'm going to let this sit for 1.5 minutes. I'm going to scoop the grounds off the top, and then I'm going to use my plunger, and then it'll be ready to drink. So it's been steeping, and now I'm going to just scoop off the grounds. I'm going to set them aside for now. Some people like to use these to fertilize their gardens or recycle or whatever. I just throw them out. But I actually learned this trick, or figured this one out, because my father-in-law was telling me, maybe you don't get such a bitter cup of coffee if you, when you're using a drip basket, take the grounds out once it's done steeping. And so I was thinking to myself, well then why leave the grounds in when I'm using the press? So, messed it up a little bit there. So there's going to be a little bit of coffee a little bit of grounds in the actual coffee, but constrain that. And we just press it real slow, and we're ready to have ourselves some coffee. So that's how I make coffee. Hope you guys enjoyed it.